With that, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us none other than Neil Harbisson, Cyborg Artist, joining us right here on the day 2 of the Global Business Summit. And let's have an artistic welcome as well. Let's put our hands together and please help me welcome Neil Harbisson.
Thank you very much. Well, we are surrounded by species that have organs and senses that we humans don't have. So imagine if we could add new senses and new organs and extend our perception of reality to the level of other animal species. We would be able to perceive reality in a much, much deeper way. And we can recreate all these senses with technology now. And it's already happening. People are already merging with technology to add new senses. I'm one of them. So 20 years ago, I decided to create an antenna. And this antenna allows me to extend my perception of reality. I can now sense colors that go beyond the human perception. It allows me to sense from infrareds to ultraviolets through vibrations. So it detects the color in front of me, it senses the vibration in my head, and I can feel colors. Sensing infrared, for example, allows me to go into spaces and detect, for example, I can go into a room and I can tell if the movement detectors are on or off in a room, or I can go to a shop or a bank and I can tell you if the alarms are on or off. Because if I sense infrared, it means that the alarms are on. If there's no infrared, then the movement detectors are not on. Sensing ultraviolet perception, it's something that allows me to feel if it's a good day or a bad day to sunbathe. So ultraviolet perception is something beneficial for avoiding the sun if you feel high levels of ultraviolet. I didn't want to use or wear an antenna. I wanted this antenna to be implanted in my head. So I tried to find a doctor willing to implant it in my head, and I found one. So the antenna is surgically implanted inside my skull. The chip inside my head vibrates depending on the color vibration in front of me. So if there's red, I feel the vibration of red. If there's blue, I feel the vibration of blue. If there's ultraviolet or infrared, I feel these colors permanently wherever I go. So the antenna also have internet connection. So color is not only something that I sense that is in front of me, but I can also receive colors from 5 people in the world that have connection to my head. So they can use a mobile app and they can share the sense of color with me. So if someone wants to share the colors of a sunset live now from Australia, I can suddenly sense colors from a sunset in Australia. So I see this as the future of the internet, how the internet can also be used not only as a tool or a communication system, but also as a sensory extension, or internet as a sense itself. Internet also allows me to connect to NASA's International Space Station. This then allows me to sense colors that are outside this planet. So we could also have sensors permanently outside this planet. We could use the internet to feel things that are far away from us. I call this becoming a senstronaut. So having senses in space that would allow us to permanently explore space without having to physically travel there. The fact of having internet in the body has one main risk, is that I can be physically hacked. Through all these years, it only happened once that someone without permission started sending colors to my head. So that's the risk, that you can be hacked. But I enjoyed being hacked. It was an interesting experience. But in order to avoid this, I changed the system, and now I'm using the blockchain to connect to my head. If you want to send colors to my head, or if you want to connect to my implant, you need to do it via the blockchain. So it's via an NFT that gives you access to my head. So this is a safe way of having internet in the body. If in the future some of you have implants that have internet connection, I'm sure you will also decide to use the blockchain, not the internet, because it's a much safer way of having internet in the body. This is an MRI scan of my brain. I no longer feel the difference between the software and the brain anymore. I don't feel I'm using or wearing technology. I feel that I am technology, and that's why I define myself as a cyborg, a cybernetic organism. And this is what I tried to explain to the UK government years ago. They didn't allow me to renew my passport because they said there was something wrong with the picture. You're not allowed to appear on passport photos with electronic equipment. I replied saying that the antenna is not an electronic equipment, but a new body part, and that I am a cyborg. They replied saying no, so he insisted in removing the antenna. I insisted that this should not be removed, that it should be allowed to, and this allows me to travel freely, because at airport security controls, there's always situations of, long conversations, basically, at airport security controls. I'm also in conversations with the Swedish government now because the materials that I use to create the antenna are Swedish. So I'm telling them that I am Swedish because part of my body is Swedish. So I think I should also be allowed to become a Swedish citizen. So I'm still in conversations. They still haven't replied properly, but it makes them think about identity when you have technology from a specific country that has become part of your body and part of your senses. So there's many more senses. In my case, I have an antenna, which is a new organ, and I have a new sense, which is ultraviolet and infrared perception. But there's other people like Moon Ribas. She was interested in elephants. They can sense earthquakes before humans because they feel the infrasound before we can actually feel the earthquake. So she has 2 implants in her feet that allow her to connect to seismographs, online seismographs. So she has the seismic sense. It allows her to feel earthquakes from 1 in the Richter scale. So before there's a big one, she can feel it in her feet. She can also connect to the moon. There's a seismograph on the moon, so she can also feel moonquakes. So she's also a senstronaut because she has a sense in space. Elephants can also communicate by tapping on the floor. They feel infrasounds, and they can communicate through bone conduction. We created a project in Brazil where a tooth was installed in my mouth, another one in Moon's mouth, and whenever I clicked, she received the vibration in her mouth. Whenever she clicked, I received the vibration in my mouth. We both learned the Morse code, so we were able to communicate like this via Morse code from mouth to mouth. We call it the Transdental communication system, and it works through Bluetooth. So it's a Bluetooth tooth that allows you to communicate from mouth to mouth. Dolphins can sense presence through electroception. Joe Dagney has implants around his body that allows him to feel presence around him. He can decide how long and how much distance he wants to feel presence around him. Many animals can sense magnetism. It's called magnetoception. We created hair implant that allows you to feel if something is magnetic. Some animals can create light in total darkness. We created a tooth that when you click, you have emergency light in your mouth. I had it for a while in my mouth, but I had it removed because when I was eating, the light was going on and off all the time, and it was quite disturbing for people. But we're trying to find other ways of activating the light without the click. Some animals sense where the north is. I have an implant in my knee that whenever I face north, I feel a small vibration in my knee. Other people have also implanted it in their knee, and it gives them the sense of north, a sense of direction. Weather stations can sense the weather very specifically. Manel de Aguas has 2 implants to sense the weather, so he's a weatherman. He had the surgery in Japan because we couldn't find surgeons in Europe. Radars can sense speed. There's earrings that allow you to sense speed like radars. If you move them at the back, you have retroception, so you can feel if someone is behind you. Also an organ to sense the passage of time. It's a crown that allows you to feel the rotation of the planet around the head, and then you have a sense of time. If your brain gets used to it, you can change the speed of this point of heat that goes around the head, and then you can create time illusions. So if you want a situation to last longer or last less, you can create it's like an optical illusion, but in time. It's a time illusion, so you can change your perception of time. All of these are not AI, they are ASs. It's artificial senses. Everyone's talking about artificial intelligence, but what I just talked about is artificial senses, and I think that's the next wave of exploration that many people will be interested in exploring. It's a branch of technology that focuses on merging with technology so that we can extend our perception of reality. It's not augmented reality, it's not virtual reality, it's revealed reality. It's technology that allows us to reveal things that are in front of us, but that us as a species cannot sense, like earthquakes or infrareds, ultrasounds, the magnetic north. So technology can allow us to reveal nature in a way that we have never been able to do before. We created the Cyborg Foundation to help people become cyborgs and also to defend cyborg rights. The cyborg rights are basically the freedom of having these surgeries. Most of these surgeries are now illegal or not accepted by bioethical committees. We want them to become legal and ethically accepted. We also want naturalization. We want these implants to be considered organs, not electronic equipment. We also think we should be free from being disassembled. No one should force us to remove these implants. And also, we have the right to decide who can enter our bodies if we have internet in our bodies. So these are laws that still are not regulated in countries, but that we are in discussions with lawyers so that this can start happening in different countries. In the future, imagine if we all had night vision. This would be a sense that would change society in an extreme way. All cities would be dark. We wouldn't be spending so much energy creating artificial light. So it would be much better for the planet if we had night vision, because we would be able to see at night, but we wouldn't have to spend so much energy creating artificial light. So maybe in the future, all these lights will be off and we'll be able to see each other. Also, imagine if we can create an organ to regulate our own temperature. Heaters and air conditionings will disappear, and then we will be able to regulate our own temperature. So I think it's about time that we start thinking about how we can change ourselves and design ourselves instead of doing what we've been doing for thousands of years, which is we've been changing the planet and adapting the planet to us. And I think it's time to change. We need to decide and change and adapt ourselves to the planet. Thank you very much, and nice to see you.